reasons why you should be prepping like crazy right now, Michael Snyder reports. A lot of people seem to think that the summer of 2024 is a time to party, but the truth is that this is a time when we should be feverishly preparing for the extremely chaotic times that are ahead of us. I just don't know what's going to take for people to wake up and realize how late it is. Donald Trump got shot. That shook people up for a few days, but that did not last long. Then there was a soft coup in the Democratic Party that got people fired up for a little bit, but that quickly faded. Of course, there's a small minority that is awake and that understands that we are living in truly historic times, but the vast majority of the population appears to be clueless. The following are 5 reasons why you should be prepping like crazy right now. Number 1, as I have been warning for a long time, the results of the election in November will unleash a flood of negative emotions. Whichever side loses is going to have a massive temper tantrum, and there is a very high risk that we could see widespread conflicts. In fact, one recent survey actually discovered that 41% of Americans believe it's likely that there will be a civil strife within the next 5 years. The possibility that America could face another civil war soon is not too far-fetched for a lot of voters. The latest Rasmussen Reports National Telephone and Online Survey finds that 41% of likely U.S. voters believe the United States is likely to experience a second civil war sometime in the next 5 years, including 16% who consider such a scenario very likely. 49% don't think another civil war is likely in the next 5 years, including 20% who say it's not at all likely, and another 10% are not sure. Number 2, armed conflicts are raging all over the globe. The war in Ukraine continues to intensify. China has been threatening Taiwan, and the war in the Middle East could potentially escalate to an apocalyptic level by the end of this calendar year. Meanwhile, riots, revolutions, civil unrest are erupting everywhere you look. For example, it appears that Venezuela is right on the verge of erupting in flames. Venezuela has been engulfed by violent riots as opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia announced he has proof that he won Sunday's disputed election hours after President Nicolas Maduro claimed he'd secured a third term in power. Thousands of enraged protesters flooded the streets of the capital and several other cities, chanting "Freedom, freedom," and this government is going to fall. And as they set fire to tires and rubbish, organized barricades to block police vehicles. Security forces fired tear gas into the crowds, and they were forced to recoil from rocks hurled by oncoming demonstrators. Number 3, the world is facing long-term food crisis that is not going to go away. Global supplies of food are getting tighter and tighter, and the UN is reporting that hundreds of millions of people did not have enough food to eat last year. Around 733 million people face hunger in 2023, equivalent to 1 in 11 people globally and 1 in 5 in Africa, according to the latest State of Food Security and Nutrition in World Selfie report, published today by 5 United Nations specialized agencies. Number 4, many health experts are warning that it's just a matter of time before the next great global pandemic hits us. A lot of people are keeping a very close eye on the bird flu, but I'm also very concerned about the frightening outbreaks of Mpox, as we've been witnessing in Africa. According to the BBC, the Central African Republic is the latest country in the region to declare an outbreak of the Mpox virus. The Central African Republic became the latest country in the region to declare an outbreak of Mpox virus. Infections have spread to the capital, Bangui, after being restricted to rural areas, Health Minister Pierre Soms said. He also told a local radio station that some families were hiding infected relatives due to stigma, thus increasing the risk to others. Number 5, I'm entirely convinced that historic natural disasters will continue to be a major theme during the second half of this year and beyond. Even here in the United States, there has been quite a bit of highly unusual shaking lately. If you can believe it, one county in Texas has actually declared a state of emergency because it has been hit by more than 100 significant earthquakes within the past week. Of course, I'm keeping an eye on that. That's in an area that has fracking. Now, so many earthquakes have struck the West Texas county of Scurry in the past week, more than 100 at last count. Local officials have declared a state of emergency. Scurry County Judge Dan Hicks wrote in his Friday declaration of disaster that since the first earthquake registered magnitude 4.9 was felt the night of July 22nd, damage has been found throughout Scurry County in businesses and residences. The county's buildings can handle a few quakes here and there, but the cumulative effects of so many small ones, punctuated by larger shaking, have become cause for concern. Right now, we're only experiencing the very early stages of the perfect storm that's now upon us. During the months and years that are ahead, things are going to get so much worse. I highly recommend stockpiling food and supplies because it won't be too long before our world goes absolutely nuts. Stocking up does not have to be complicated. At this point, so many people are buying emergency food that even Costco is stocking it on their shelves. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine because Costco has an emergency dinner kit dubbed the Apocalypse Bucket online that lasts 25 years. The ReadyWise Emergency Food Bucket, which boasts 150 freeze-dried and dehydrated meal servings, has caused a stir on social media with an online price tag of $79.99. The bucket boasts that it's more than just food. In its product description, it says it provides readiness in the face of uncertainty. The bucket features 80 entrees and sides, 30 breakfast servings, and 40 drink servings that just need water to prepare, for a total of 25,280 calories. The meal options range from teriyaki rice, tomato basil soup and pasta alfredo, to cheesy macaroni and apple cinnamon cereal. The good news is that there are now millions of preppers in this country that are preparing for the apocalyptic times that are rapidly approaching. The bad news is that the total population of the United States is 333 million. When things finally hit the fan, most people will be completely and utterly unprepared, and that truly will be a nightmare scenario. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial new book entitled Chaos is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.